Misfits 17 went down at the weekend in Dublin, and it looked jam-packed. We didn't get to see KSI fight, but we did get to see him perform his music, and it was great. It brought a different dynamic to the event, and he did perform a new single, kind of like an apology for not fighting. Right off the bat, I thought it was a great show. Despite the fact that KSI didn't fight, and I was disappointed, it was still a great show, because I do think this year, some of the shows have been below par, and this one leveled up. So let's get into it. A fight that I was really looking forward to was Jesse Clark versus Sami Hamid. Sami is son of Prince Nazim Hamid. If you don't know, you better get to know, because he's one of the best and definitely the most entertaining fighters ever. This guy had everything. He had power in both hands, he had skill, he had rhythm, and yes, I say rhythm because he was dancing while he was fighting. His defense was unreal. He was like the Matrix. He threw punches from angles I've never seen before. And you might think I'm exaggerating, so you need to go and check him out. So if there was anyone made for Misfits boxing, it was the son of Prince Nazim Hamid. In fair play, Sami Muhammad didn't disappoint. Like his dad, whose ring walk is legendary, he came out confident, strutting his stuff, dancing, playing to the crowd, just soaking it all in. You know, definitely a chip off the old block. And when the bell went, he got straight down to business. It was like a reincarnation. He had that same swagger, the low guard, he had the power, he had the movement. It was a great display of boxing, timing, power, and he just proved too much for Jesse Clark. And the towel came in, and he got a second round TKO. I'm not too sure what his goals are in the sport of boxing, but I think he could do great things. He's trained by pro trainer Jamie Moore, great trainer, who also trains Jack Catterall. So he's in great company. Jack also helped out in the corner. And I seen an interview that he done, and he said he really enjoyed the Misfits event and the whole build-up. And I think he really appreciates that Misfits boxing brings a whole different audience to boxing. I was also pleased to see Dean the Great back versus Dave Fogarty. Dean's definitely one of my favourite Misfits fighters. From when I first seen him, I just thought he looked like a real boxer. Forget Misfits, just a real boxer. Dave come out the gate running. He wasn't messing about. And he had Dean on the back foot, and Dean was getting caught. He didn't look as slick as he normally does. He was definitely a little bit rusty, but you can't take anything away from Dave because he meant business. He didn't allow Dean to find his rhythm. He was looking for blood. He put it straight on him. Unfortunately for Dave, by the second round, Dean found his rhythm and his timing and started to get success. And by the third round, it was all Dean. And he dropped him twice and it was game over. In the end, Dean's skill and technique just showed. And the power sealed the deal. Dean's also just signed a 3-fight extension with Misfits, which I'm pleased about. And hopefully, when my mate Joey Knights wins the lightweight tournament, we'll get to see him versus Dean the Great. And Joey Knights is also fighting on the 14th of September in my hometown in Newcastle. So make sure to tune in and buy your tickets. Ben Williams versus Warren Spencer. This was a great fight. It was back and forth. Both guys shown tremendous heart. Unfortunately, to mine and the fans' disappointment, there was a controversial stoppage. And like I said, the fight was back and forth. Both fighters got hurt. Warren got caught with a shot, but he was still there. His hands were up, and Ben piled on the pressure, but nothing was really landing clearly, and then the referee jumped in and stopped it. Madness. It was a bad stoppage, definitely premature, and bad refereeing. Mams Taylor was fuming at the stoppage. He got in the ring and got on the mic and basically credited both fighters and then basically told off the ref. I've never seen that done before in a boxing ring, so fair play. And it was the end of the night for that referee. And another one took over. HS Tiki Toki versus George Fenson. The build-up was fiery and it was entertaining. But when Fenson got in the ring, it looked like he'd never even seen a boxing ring before, never mind being in one. I mean, his boxing was as good as my Japanese. I mean, it was embarrassing. He looked terrified. The first onslaught and he hit the deck. The commentary killed me. They said he's on the floor in the fetal position. I mean, he simply didn't want to be there. He had no business being in a boxing ring. Unfortunately, the build-up was better than the actual fight. He brought absolutely nothing. Nothing but empty promises. He robbed the public. After the fight, HS gets on the mic and calls out Jake Paul, which is funny. I think the adrenaline goes to his head. He gets a little bit too excited and gets ahead of himself. You can see he's strong and powerful and he's athletic, but calling out Jake Paul is jumping the gun. There's levels in sport and definitely in boxing because you can get yourself hurt. So he needs to calm down and take it easy because he's only fresh out the gates, one step at a time. One thing's for sure, he's a great addition to Misfits boxing. He's definitely got the personality for it. He's obviously far from the finished article and definitely needs a better opponent next time, but I am looking forward to seeing who he fights next. Anthony Taylor versus Gabriel Silva. We had another legend's son of Anderson Silva. Anthony Taylor performed well, because I know he gets a lot of criticism with his crude style and he's a bit of a spoiler, but he showed skill and you could definitely see his experience. I definitely expected more from Gabriel, especially with his height and reach advantage. I thought he'd be to keep it long and just outbox Anthony. Maybe I just thought that because of who his dad is. I thought he would have the same skill, but I was wrong. AT was able to close the gap and basically outgun him. AT caught him and rocked him and the ref gave him a standing count. Then he caught him again with a great right hand and dropped him heavily. Anthony Taylor turned up. He performed well and got the stoppage. The main event, Danny Arens versus Danny Simpson. YouTuber versus footballer. Danny Simpson come out like a train. He was looking for blood. He was all over Arens like a rash. You could see he was raw, but you could see his athletic ability. Arens looked like a deer in the headlights. But I did see a post-fight interview, him and his coach said that he was struggling beforehand with the nerves, and it showed. Trust me when I say, I understand. I've been there before. Nothing prepares you for the nerves you get on your first fight. You can do all the training, all the sparring, but nothing prepares you. Those nerves are real. The first 2 rounds, it was all Simpson. Fair play to Arens, he took some good shots. He showed that he had a chin. But in the second half of the fight, Arens found his feet and started to get success, and he took over. I mean, both guys were raw. I mean, it was sloppy and messy at times, but what do you expect? Both guys were novices. Let's be honest, it wasn't the greatest of fights, but it was still entertaining. You can't really expect much more from 2 guys that are brand new to boxing. The fight ended in a draw, and I think it was a fair result. Both fighters give it the all. What more can you ask for? Maybe that fight shouldn't have been the headline fight, but they wanted the biggest names to headline, and they're definitely 2 of the biggest names on the card, so I understand. People were also talking the fact that Danny Arens had 7 months to prepare, whereas Danny Simpson only had a month. But you got to remember that Danny Arens is a full-time gamer. He sits at a computer for a living. Whereas Danny Simpson is a former footballer. You know, he's a natural athlete. So you've got to give Danny Arens some credit. I think respect to both guys. They both gave it their all. And both showed huge amount of heart. So huge respect. I thought it was a great show. We didn't get to see KSI fight. But we did get to see him perform. So it was something. Something to keep KSI's fans happy. What's everyone's thoughts? Who would you like to see next on Misfits? What would you rate the card out of 10? Please let me know. Please like and subscribe and go watch this video next.